Okay, so today we will design a monostable 555 timer, and along with that we will design a retriggerable version of the same. So in a monostable timer, when you give a negative trigger pulse to any 555, it will give you a high output, and uh, in the retriggerable version of it, so in a normal monostable timer, when the output is high, if you give multiple trigger pulses in that duration, those are not taken up by the monostable timer. However, in a retriggerable version, the timer kind of resets itself every time you give a trigger pulse, and it starts counting from the last trigger pulse that you have given it. So we will design both of those in LT Spice today, and so I'll start by choosing a NA 555. Here is our voltage source. All right, and so we will need to put a resistor between VCC and discharge, and a capacitor between threshold and ground, and another between control voltage and ground. Okay, so the time will be decided by R1 and C1, and so let me make the connections. All right. Yes, so my connections are done. Okay, one connection is left, is we will need to short discharge and threshold and connect it here. Yeah. Now for triggering, giving it a trigger pulse, in when you make a real circuit, you need to put a push button between trigger and ground and pull up this trigger pin to VCC. Here what I do is, I'll put a voltage source here that will give me my trigger pulses. Okay. And, what this reset pin does is, it erases everything in the timer, and brings the output back to zero, whatever be the case. When you so that happens when the reset is grounded. So basically, we don't want that now, so we keep it at high VCC, and we'll connect this to trigger, and we'll ground this. We label our output, right click, label net V. We pick up our values, so I'll go to advanced. So trigger, I need pulses. Initial voltage should be high, on voltage should be low. Let's keep a delay of 2 seconds. Rise time, let's keep it 50 milliseconds. Fall time as well, let's keep it 50 milliseconds. And on time, let's keep it 100 milliseconds. Now the time period, let's keep for now at 6 seconds, and any number of cycles. Okay, so these are my trigger pulses. This VCC should be at 5 volts. For R and C, okay, this control voltage capacitor, this is around 10 nanofarads. Now R1 and C1. So if I tell you, so time period is measured as 1.1 times R1 times C1, and suppose I want a 5 seconds time. So I'll go to take, okay, so let me choose C1 first to with 10 microfarads. The normal capacitor value that will easily get in the market, and so for this I'll get R1 as around 454 kilo ohms. These are the values that I'll put in here. R1 454 kilo ohm and capacitance 10 microfarad. So let's run this circuit and see the results. We will run this for around 15 seconds. Okay, so let's check our trigger input. So there are three trigger inputs, one at around 2 seconds, at 8 seconds, and at 14 seconds. Cool. Now let's check the output voltage. So as you can see, I timed it for almost 5 seconds. So it starts at 2 seconds. It goes to almost 7 seconds, I guess. So if I measure the time period, so the time period of the output pulse is almost 5.01, so almost 5 seconds. Okay. Um, Now, so this is how a monostable timer works. Now what I will do is I'll uh, change the pulse duration, and yeah, so I'll reduce the period to 2 seconds. Now if you see, so there are multiple triggers between 2 and 8 seconds, like three of them. However, the output it starts at 2 and ends at 7, and it kind of ignores these two triggers that come after the first trigger. And yeah, so same happens here as well. So if we want that the timer monostable timer circuit starts measuring 5 seconds from this last trigger, what we need to do is add a PNP transistor over here or something, some circuit that would basically discharge this capacitor, so that the timer gets resetted. So whenever this capacitor is discharged, the timer resets itself. Okay, so we will add a, so this kind of resetting using the RST, actually my terminology is a little incorrect. It so basically it will if you use the RST pin to reset, it will bring it down to 0 instantly. However, if I discharge this capacitor, instead of bringing it to 0, it will just reset the countdown. So I keep the emitter of the, okay, huh. So I keep the emitter of the PNP transistor here and connect it. The collector would be grounded, and the base goes to, so the basic reason why I'm using a PNP transistor here, because whenever I'll give a voltage at the base, uh, so the negative voltage at the base, the PNP transistor will conduct, and current will flow through the PNP transistor, and basically the capacitor will get discharged. Now this capacitor is small and the energy stored by it is small, so I can, so it will get almost discharged almost instantly. However, the current would be quite high if I like don't use any resistor, but since it would be for a very short period of time, we don't really need a resistor. Okay, so now let us, okay, just we will reset this pulse duration to 6 seconds first. So as you can see, it behaves like a normal monostable timer as before, and yeah, it's almost the same time. And to now what I'll do is again reduce this period to 2 seconds, and as you can see, due to the multiple pulses, the output voltage one gets back to 0, because the triggers are at 2 seconds duration, but I have timed it for 5 seconds, so it basically measures that last trigger. So here, so it will keep on measuring till that last trigger here. And yes, so it will always be high. So let me reduce the number of cycles to only 3, and now we'll get a better picture. Yeah, so as you can see, after this last trigger, it is measuring 5 seconds. Initially what was happening is ki 2 seconds, and so it was measuring till here only, till 7 seconds, and it was going back again to 0, the output pulse. However, now the output pulse goes to 0 after a longer time, and presumably it is so it's around 10 and 11, slightly less than 11. So let's just see for how long. So after the last trigger pulse, uh, this is around 4.5 seconds. So yeah, 4.5 seconds almost. So this is what a retriggerable monostable timer is. It will consider your last trigger, and from there it will start measuring the output duration and will give you an output of say 5 seconds from the last trigger that will press. Okay, however, in a normal monostable timer, it was the first trigger that it was measuring, and it was ignoring these two triggers. Okay, this is a standard monostable timer where when if I press the push button, the LED glows for some time and then it stops glowing like this. So and suppose I press once and again I press, the LED timing does not change. However, if I add this PNP transistor over here, something in this manner, and then I start pressing, if I press once, the timing is maintained. However, if I press twice or thrice, the timing increases automatically. So this was when it was once, and suppose I keep on pressing it multiple times now, so it will keep on glowing continuously till the end. So this is known as a retriggerable monostable timer.